Nicholas Kristof has my frequent admiration, but once again, criticism, and it comes from his latest Sunday piece. I'm Mark Stewart Greenstein. The piece is found in the New York Times as usual, and it puts in his mind a burden on society and a blame on society for not stepping up to help poor families that don't help themselves. And I think it's wrong. When the family should be taking that step. When somebody wants help, this country is so compassionate. If you're just going to stick yourself in a rut, you can't expect the rest of the world to seek you out or want to do anything for you. So he profiles people from his boyhood town in rural Oregon, and one family of 5 kids. All of them met an early demise due to either alcoholism, drugs, or crime. At least one was all 3. So there's a nice looking photo from 1968 of 4 boys and 1 girl and a mom behind them. This is a bad mom, okay? It's one thing to have 1 wayward kid out of 5, maybe 2. When all 5 kids get into trouble, it says something about your parenting. And I don't have huge sympathy for those who say, oh, it's just outside forces. Not when other families in the same or even tougher financial circumstances do fine. Kristof says that different zip codes, the poverty level kind of determines what quality of life people will have there. I disagree. It's values, not finances. Give me your average Vietnamese immigrant with almost no money. Give me your average Central African immigrant with almost no money. These people come with values and make something of themselves and their families. Very few of them would be caught with 5 lousy kids or even 1. If the town itself is so decrepit, it's up to the individual family to get out. Now, Kristof actually gives an example of this, a good example of this, saying that when Detroit and Windsor, Ontario, which almost neighbors Detroit, had the auto crisis, Canadians retooled their own skills with some government help, but they took initiative far more than Detroiters, and they rebounded really well. I believe in this. And yeah, I believe in some government spur, but it's got to mostly come from the individual, including moving away from a depressed area. We need more of that. We need people to realize that just because my family, my roots are here in a very depressed place, you don't have to stay. People will welcome you, especially if you tie yourself to people of good values. When you go to a community in another state, latch onto their church or their VFW or their bowling club. And if you have kids, latch onto the school PTOs and other organizations. You are not a stranger for long. Therefore, don't be afraid to leave. Now, I say this more than about rural Oregon. Inner city Hartford, inner city Bridgeport in my home state. Right now, there should be an exodus of families because the community support for people who want to get out is not strong enough. They need to get out themselves. And every one of us in suburbs welcomes families of any race that want to do better for their kids and help the society around them. I'm campaigning a lot in New Hampshire, and there's a big divide economically between Northern New Hampshire, the upper 3 counties, don't do nearly as well financially over the last 20 years, and they've seen a lot of loss in population. Compared to the southern New Hampshire counties, those 7 are doing great. So I do encourage the willingness to move to better climb. Now, I also encourage the open-mindedness among corporations to employ talented people wherever they are as telecommuters. A lot of successful businesses get even more successful by bringing talent from places far away. They'll convene once a month in person and otherwise work really well through the magic of voice, video, internet. We've had it for 20 years and we're doing fine. Expand it so that families with very good values don't have to leave, so that workers with very good work ethic can apply them far away. That is my biggest prescription for keeping families from facing tough situations. All right, I'm glad Nicholas brought up this family out in Oregon and the many like them. My prescription, quite different, and notice, it's less communal than his, it's more individual, but that's the case of conservatives. We conservatives believe in helping yourself. Change comes better from within. Liberals, progressives are the better term. It's outside forces to them that make or break you. I disagree, but that's the liberal mindset. And so they have to call on society to change and help people in tough circumstances. I think conservatives is the better way. I think it uplifts us and uplifts society together. I hope to be able to debate Bernie Sanders. I am on the ballot in Vermont, his home state. So after Super Tuesday, we'll see if I make some headway. Thank you for bearing with me. I am Mark Stewart. Thank you all on Facebook as well.